Grey's Anatomy's penultimate episode of season 21 was, excuse Dickens, the best of times, the worst of times. It was the wedding day of Joe and Link, on the one hand. On the other hand, little Dylan continued to behave badly, and only became worse. And while Nora was able to create a fresh danger to Teddy and Owen's future, Lucas sulked that he and Simone had none. Joe's low with the mother Joe and Maureen guest actress Bess Armstrong, her future mother-in-law, were at odds as Love You Like a Love Song got underway. Link's mother was willing to assist, but only in ways that the bride didn't desire, such as applying makeup that made her look like 1983 Boy George and presenting a huge veil that might have been the prop from The Last Showgirl. Levi, the wedding officiant, fortunately arrived quickly and informed Joe that Maureen was simply being, well, a mother. This was sometimes the annoying way people express their love, but Joe had never experienced one of them. After receiving Levi's promise, Joe yelled out to Maureen that she didn't want the headpiece or makeup, albeit louder than she would have preferred. Link was working at Grey Sloan on his wedding day, so he allowed Bailey to influence him on the need to wing it when it came to saying his vows to his bride. On Bailey's instruction, he tried to write something sincere, similar to how he may compose post-op notes. As an epic failure, Bailey advised him to say how you feel in your own way. Like it's that simple. Teddy working on Nora, after returning from what seemed to be a very restorative trip to Hawaii, Owen and Teddy looked like newlyweds. Nora, her husband's one-night stand, was back in the hospital with an infected graft, and she didn't even request to be removed from the case. Unfortunately, she and Winston tried a long-shot treatment on the patient, but it didn't work, so they had to suggest palliative care. Teddy told Owen about it while he was still on duty, and he tried to console Megan's childhood best friend when she was on her way to Joe and Link's wedding. I know I shouldn't say this, but I have a pass now because I'm dying, Nora informed him. I believe I'm somewhat in love with you. In her bed, Owen appeared far cozier than his wife would have liked by the time Teddy and Winston left the reception with a bold new proposal that could save Nora. Lucas dumped Simone, or Lucas took advantage of every chance to ignore Simone during the hour by citing Dylan's deteriorating health. The child's only means of communication at first was blinking. Toward the end, she was unable to do so at all. Outside of Joe and Link's wedding location, Simone finally had to admit to Lucas that she hadn't been supporting Dylan. Rather, she had just been realistic. Link disclosed the song in his heart, or Joe took a time with Maureen before to the wedding, to express regret and explain why being mothered had felt so strange to her. After putting the feud behind them, Levi escorted his friend down the aisle to begin the wedding. Swoon when it was time for the vows. They were as adorable and humorous as they were romantic and charming, and Link sang his. The bride said, "How am I supposed to follow that?" Jules told Winston that she was no longer upset that Richard didn't seem to want her on his service as the hour came to an end. Jules was euphoric from Richard allowing her execute an ostomy. She wanted to investigate all of the other options that the day had opened her eyes to. At Joe's bar, a distraught Simone was finally drowning her sorrows when a dashing stranger, Trevor Jackson from Grownish, made a move on her. It was going hot and heavy before the credits rolled,